All right. I think we are on. Let's just double check here because we're using some new tech today. You can hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Says started streaming, but I don't see it. You're on. Okay.
There
Thank
we
you,
go.
Diana. All right. Let me close this tab so I'm not echoing. Okay. We've been playing with different tech every week. All right. Welcome to YouTube Backstage. If you've posted 10, 20, or even 30 videos on YouTube, you're still sitting at almost no views, a few subscribers, and few to no clients, and you're starting to wonder, is this even worth it? This is always the big question, right? Here's what I want you to know. One of the videos on this channel got 16 views in its first month when I was first getting started. That same video now has over 100,000 views, okay? So YouTube does take time in a really good way in some ways. And if you're a business owner, views really aren't even the most important metric. We had a client that was kind of frustrated with low views in the beginning until someone found her video, booked a call, and bought a $3,000 in coaching session. So all of a sudden it was like, oh,
That makes you
I get
feel
it
good.
now. Yeah,
makes
didn't
you
even have to
feel
sell
good.
them the call, which basically just got on the call. It's like, which one do I get? Which package do I get? So today we're going to show you the one number you should really be looking at instead of views early on. Plus a new feature on YouTube Backstage. Since it can be so frustrating to keep up with YouTube's constant announcements, we're going to play a round of news, or is it just new? We'll quickly update you on what the latest is from YouTube, but also let you know if it's new or if it's actual news that we need to care about as entrepreneurs. And Candy's viewer question of the week: what's the smallest channel that could still generate real leads? Okay. So that is all coming up. Welcome, everybody. Would love to know where you are in the chat. You can let us know right now. So let me just start off by saying YouTube is not satisfying in the beginning, unless you enjoy the journey. But I'm here for the destination. It takes a lot to get started. No results right away makes people quit way too soon. And so when I started my channel, and I still almost quit a few times in the first year, I've told this story many, many times, but I know not everybody's heard it, and you should. I basically said to friends and to, Candy, my wife and business partner, I said, I'm going to put up 52 videos. I'm going to see what happens. And I put up one long form video a week because I think that has the highest return on effort for a year. And I still wanted to quit. There were a lot of days where it was like, no new views, no new subscribers. And so if you felt that way, first, it's super, super normal. So what I would love to know from our live and replay viewers right now is, how many focused long form videos have you posted right now? Replay viewers too, would love your comments. They show up as separate comments, but we still love to see them and read them. So how many focused long form videos have you posted right now? Let us know in the chat. Candy, what do you think your temperament would be if you started a YouTube channel before you were like, what a waste of time?
Oh, well, see, it depends on if you're an instant gratification person, I think.
Mhm.
So it's a personality thing for sure, but it's also a comparative thing. If you see your competitors who are getting views, who are getting traction, and you're like, well, I thought what I was doing was just as good or better. So I think it depends on where you're hearing the feedback loop. So it would probably be around 10 videos, I think.
Okay.
For me,
One of the things
I think.
One of the things I'm going to show you today is what you should realistically expect in your first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, what you should actually look at in your first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and beyond that if you're already past that point. But yeah, you bring up a great point. It's hard not to compare ourselves. And especially if you're around other people who did really well or did well quicker. My friend Jamie started a new channel about quilting. Well, Jamie has a massive email list. And so she sent her first video to her email list, and she got like 5,000 views in the first week on one video.
That's great.
Yeah. Most of us don't get to do that. But
No.
when we're sitting at 3 views, we're like, it's broken. I'm going to quit right now. This is not worth it at all. So let's see where we're at here. Gord says 7. Okay. Angus says no instant gratification. There you go, Angus.
Hi.
Diana says 9, getting going. Awesome. Midlife Dating Podcast says 3. Okay, great. Let's see. Kelly Reed's book says I've posted 7 in about 20 days. Just started the second week of July. I've got 28 subscribers and one video had 92 views. That's awesome.
That
Congrats,
is
Kelly.
awesome.
That's a lot of videos in 20 days too, but you're ahead of where I was at that point for sure. Amy says 8 to 10 long form videos. Okay, great.
Okay.
So let's talk about kind of what to expect as you are going through these, just really having some real expectations. Views are the metric that we generally obsess over because they're in our face, right? We see them, and I think the scariest part, in fact, this should have probably said scary expectations instead of dangerous
I don't know.
expectations.
Dangerous expectations. It's like, that it sounds like a really bad B-level movie with Sharon Stone's daughter.
Okay.
Like this is what they've come up with as bringing the sexy Sharon Stone back or whatever. Not that Sharon Stone is not sexy now. Forgive me.
So the scary part is everyone else can see how many views you have too. And so sometimes when people come from podcasting and nobody can see your downloads,
Mhm.
it's safe, right? It feels good. But YouTube is a very public platform in that way, and they can see 12 views, for example. And the truth is, your views during your first 60 days or so are primarily going to be a reflection of the people you know, friends, family. Perhaps you already have an audience somewhere else that you invited over, like my friend Jamie did. But for most of it, there's only so many of those, right? Like,
Well, they're your
okay,
cheerleaders. They're your people that are in your corner and want you to do well. We all need those cheerleaders.
yeah. And I feel like we should say this, PSA, don't invite the wrong people to your channel. You're better off to have 5 views from the right people. Invite
Yes.
people just as long as they're the right people. My friend Justin Brown has almost 2 million subscribers now. And when he started making fake accounts for people in his family so that he could subscribe to his YouTube channel with them. So it was like, Mom, you have a YouTube account, you subscribe to my channel. People have done that. It's not necessary. You really want to get the right people there because in the beginning, especially that first 60 days, YouTube is primarily in learning mode. Low views doesn't mean the algorithm, it basically means the algorithm hasn't been able to match you up with the right people yet. So if views don't matter though, what does? We're going to talk about what you should expect in the first 30, 60, 90 days and what to look at here in just a second, as well as what to do if you're already past that and still not growing as fast as you'd like. But right now, we have a quick exercise that we want to do. Candy?
Oh, yes. Okay. So, Jerry, just, roll with me on this. So, we're going to do thumbnail predicting. Okay. So, there are going to be 2 thumbnails that you're going to see. Can you see them now? Are they up?
This is
Okay.
the first of
This is
3.
the
We're going to
first
look at
one.
one at a time.
There are 3 thumbnails. There's supposed to be 2, but I added a bonus, little taste for you.
Of
So
course you
this
did.
is for a video that Jerry's going to be publishing on Monday, and we're doing some experimentation with thumbnails. So what is this video about that's coming out Monday?
So it's about whether or not you should optimize your video titles for search. YouTube SEO, basically. Like, do you need to worry about search now in 2026? How to find keywords, where they should go, different thing like that. The working title right now, and you can kind of see it on the screen here at the top, unless you're watching on your phone, but it's YouTube SEO for Business, Get Found and Get Clients. So that's the title that goes with these thumbnails.
Okay, so the first thumbnail as a concept, you see that it didn't use text on it except for the rocks that normally would spell out SOS when you are a castaway, like Jerry is here on the deserted island.
Oh, that's actually my face in there?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But it spells out SEO while he's trying to flag down the rescue plane. So that is an experiment because that's normally not what best practices say for thumbnails. You need big, bright text. So this is an experiment for this video that's coming out on Monday. So this would be option 1. We're going to have you make a prediction here. So the prediction, what? What were you going to say?
In case it's not clear too, these numbers are just to make it easy for you to vote on which one you think will do best in a second. So this is not actually part of the thumbnail.
That is, yes, of course not. That is not part of my thumbnail. All right. So that is option 1 is this Jerry as a castaway. So let's go to option 2. This is option 2. And so what we're looking for here is I really want you to predict which of these thumbnails do you think is going to get a higher click-through rate? Like which one is really going to grab a viewer's attention? So option 1 or option 2, let us know in the comments. And which one do you think viewers are going to click? And let us know kind of why you think that way. I will say I did add a bonus option on this one. So go down to option 3.
YouTube SEO for Business, Get Found and Get Clients. It's a Where's Waldo picture.
Do you see you? Did you find you?
I see me right here.
There you are.
I'll be right
I
behind the
made
video
I
link.
made you actually as Waldo, but you're like on a laptop and stuff in medieval times. But anyway, so what you need to think about is which one of those do you think will get the highest click-through rate? Option 1, 2, or 3 as a bonus. And we've talked about this with thumbnails too. Sometimes you need to experiment and sometimes you need to break the rules. So that's a little bit of what this would be for Monday's video that is coming out. And we want to see which one you predict. So option 1, 2,
Okay,
or
so
3.
we have 1 on the beach, number 2, the Where's Waldo more typical looking thumbnail, although not really, and then 3 is the actual Where's Waldo picture.
Yes.
So let me see if I can zoom out and show all 3. And so have you vote right now in the comments. While people are voting here real quick, I just want to mention I'm creating a brand new workshop right now. I'm super excited about it. The big question we're talking about today is YouTube going to work? How long is it going to take, right? That's the big question that we have. And so coming up on August 17th, that's a week from Monday, I am teaching a free workshop. It is called Will YouTube Work for Your Business? 3 things that client getting channels have. Hang on, I have it open, but will YouTube actually work for your business? Build a channel. Let's see, the actual title. Learn the 3 things every client getting channel has. There you go. So if you would like to join us for this, there's a QR code and that'll be on the screen in a second, or you can find the link in the description of this live stream. But we would love to have you join us. Like I said, free workshop, brand new, state of YouTube in 2026. So, okay, let's pop over here to the comments and see what we've got. Let's see. Gord said, for me, it's 1, the image is clear and relatable. So that's the SEO on the beach one.
The
Right?
Castaway. Mhm.
Yeah. Lane says option 2 needs a yellow background to contrast
Oh,
against
yeah.
Jerry. The red on red blends too much. Interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Yep.
change this up so it's a different one. Yeah. It'd be interesting too to see this in front of like the actual Where's Waldo book. Are you violating any copyrights with this? I guess
No,
not. It's
I
just a
drew
drawing,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I drew the one guy Where's Waldo style, and then I said, "Can we make it more like this?" And they're like, "Yes, we can."
Yay, yay, AI. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Lane. Let's see. We have Kelly says 2, but I agree it needs contrast. It isn't really clear what it's about. And I thought 3 was too busy for when it comes up small on a phone or something. Yeah.
Yes, and
Okay.
Kelly makes a really good point. Option 3, what we were just showing you, really breaks all the rules of best practices. And there is going to be times when that's going to get you somewhere. So if you're looking at like in a very iconic image, like a Where's Waldo page, it's so well known. Is this the time that that would actually work? We don't know.
I don't know if I would recognize it as well. Where's Waldo on the YouTube homepage, but
Oh my gosh, what? Do you read? Of course. Of
but
course you do. For when you were
some
a
people
kid?
might. Some people might.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
most people. Some versus most. Most.
Okay. All right. All right. And then Diana says number 2 is the one,
2.
same one there.
Yeah.
Okay. So that seems to be the standout. All right. So we're going to publish this coming up on Monday. And we'll obviously watch it. It'll take at least 2 weeks to test. I don't know if we're going to do 3 or just 2. We're kind of
Yeah.
experimenting with just publishing 2.
Oh,
There.
replay viewers too. So replay viewers, if you're watching this in replay, please vote. Like which one you think will get the highest click-through rate. Because we're predicting thumbnails. We're going to see.
Yes, thank you. I love that. All right, so let's talk about how long is YouTube going to take here, and we're going to talk about what your first 90 days looks like on YouTube here. So this is kind of something I sat down and really thought through, and there's really only one thing worth measuring in the very beginning, and that is, are you publishing? Because it's the only thing that's really in your control. You kind of have to look for other wins early on. Now I know sometimes like we've all probably heard a story. It's like, yeah, I published 3 videos and I had all this stuff happen, but you got to look for other things. I went viral. I want, all these things. So, look for wins like, hey, I'm better at video than I was 5 videos ago, right? I'm better at teaching. I'm better at talking about my expertise. Like every video you make, you probably get better at making content about your business. I did get my first client 11 days after I started my YouTube channel. It was a really cool early win. That's part of why I kept going. I didn't have a big channel. I had 17 subs at that point. A lot of them were the people that I begged to come and and watch. But I also got 2 paid speaking gigs in my first 2 months. And at the end of 2 months, I think I had 28 subscribers. A lot of people, 28 subscribers, 2 months in, would quit there, right? Don't. Because again, same channel I'm talking about is the one that we're on now that has over 160,000 subscribers. And just to kind of give you a timeline, for me, it took 6 months to get 100 subscribers. A month later, though, I had 1,000, and a year later, I had 10,000. So once YouTube finds your audience, it's so much easier for them to find more people like that. And I want to go back really quick to address something that I saw come up from Kelly. I heard you shouldn't share with family and friends that it throws off the algorithm. Is that right? Yeah. So we quickly touched on this a second ago. But if you can send the right people to YouTube, like my friend Jamie did for her quilting channel, if you can send the right people to YouTube and YouTube goes, oh, this type of viewer likes this video, we know other people like that, then they go find those other viewers and they bring them to your video. So yeah, that's when it can be a good thing, as long as it is the right people. So keep that in mind. All right. What about the first 60 days? So if you're publishing a weekly long form video, which is usually what I advise, you've done 8 to 9 videos at this point. This is, again, where a lot of people want to quit. And one thing I found, Candy, is this, I don't think we've ever talked about this, but this is where people are looking for me to give them a number to justify quitting.
Yeah, where's your magic wand?
Yeah. They want me to say, if you don't have blank by 60 days, it's not going to work, so you can just quit guilt-free. Okay? There is no guilt-free quitting number. Don't quit at 60 days. Remember, 60 days, I had 28 subs. I had a couple of other wins there, which I'm grateful for, but I also still wanted to quit because the little wins were not worth the amount of work I was putting in early on. Now, if we
the
talk
other
about,
thing,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, that I was going to say is that that you should give yourself permission to spend time working on this as a long-term project, because you are a business owner. You already are running a whole bunch of other things. It may be a coaching program or a community, or you're getting on a new course or whatever, and then also doing YouTube on top of it. So I think you have to, I don't want to say, oh, it's a time management thing, because time management is not my jam, but it is one of those things where you have to say, this is my commitment, because I know it's not going to be instant.
So you're saying you didn't design that Where's Waldo screen in an efficient manner?
I did not. Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
It was worth it, though.
Even if we don't use it, it was worth it?
In my mind, it was worth it, because now I know how to do it.
True. Yeah. Made me laugh. That'll be the new thumbnail strategy, is hide what the video's about in a Waldo landscape.
That's right.
All right. So first 90 days. At this point, if you're publishing weekly, you've done roughly 13 videos, right? Because there's like 4 weeks and change in each month. Now, this is the point where you might be able to find some information in your analytics, even if your views are low. And what you want to look for is YouTube recommending your videos to new people? So I have a tutorial about how to do this on my channel, and it's one of the recent videos. You should be able to find it pretty quickly. But the short version is, you want to go in and you want to look at one of the analytics, which is called impressions. Impressions is the number of time that your video appeared somewhere on YouTube. So if somebody goes to your channel page and they scroll, those count as impressions. But most of them on a growing channel are going to come from youtube.com, from the feed on mobile, from the videos that show up in the sidebar, suggested videos at the end of one that they watched. That's where your impressions are going to come from. And you can see how many of your views are coming from impressions that were from YouTube suggestions. So if you know YouTube is suggesting your videos to people, you're on the right track. If you
time out.
Yeah.
There's no magic number for impressions?
I mean, there's never a magic number, but
yeah.
Let me share an example. So, but what you want to look for is impressions. So if your videos are not getting views, but they're getting impressions, that means YouTube is getting better at matching them up with the right people. They're suggesting them to people. So what that might mean, though, like let's say you have a bunch of impressions and not a lot of views, that means YouTube is suggesting your video to people, but they're not clicking on it, which means you need a Where's Waldo thumbnail. No, which means you need a better title or a better thumbnail. If people are clicking on it and they're not watching very much of it, that means YouTube is suggesting it, people are clicking on it, and then they're leaving, and so YouTube stops suggesting it.
So that is a content sort of situation.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah. And we'll talk about how to do that when we talk about ways to grow faster here in just a second. But one person I was working with, and they were kind of just, early on they were getting, 17 views, 20 views, things like that. All of a sudden they had a video get 90 something views. So that was like a huge early win, right?
Mhm.
And they went in and, and I said, let's look at your analytics. Let's figure out what's happening here. We went in and this video out of nowhere got 2,000 impressions in its first week. So imagine now 97 views versus 25 views, definitely a spike, but it's not like it's not viral, right? So if you
Mhm.
don't know to go in and look at your impressions, you may just be like, oh, that's getting a few more. Maybe somebody shared it or something like that. But the 2,000 impressions told us YouTube knows what this video is about. It has an audience that it thinks it can match with it. And so it is suggesting it to them. Like imagine if YouTube is like, yeah, we just suggested your video to 2,000 people this week. That's awesome, right? That's great
Yeah.
news,
That's YouTube doing the work for you.
which is all what we're working for.
Right.
The downside was it had, I think it was about a 10-minute video, and the average percent or the average watch time was 1 minute. So like
Hmm.
10% or less. So what happens was YouTube said, oh, we think people will like this video. They recommended it to people. People clicked on it. They didn't watch, and YouTube went, oh, we were wrong. And they stopped recommending that video. Now, unless that happens over and over again, like that doesn't kill the future of the channel or anything like that. YouTube really does look at each video individually as much as, if not more, as the channel overall.
Mhm.
But yeah, look in there, look for impressions. That's the thing you're going to want to look for. And then you can also look at your click-through rate, which is how often people click on the video based on the impressions, and then your watch time, how long you can watch. But to go back to the comparison game you were talking about, Kenny, the most dangerous thing you can do at 90 days is start, because sometimes people start feeling accomplished. Like I've made 12, 13 videos. I learned how to edit. I'm getting better.
Yeah.
And then they start comparing their 3-month-old channel to one that's been around for years. So the analogy I like to use for this is imagine a toddler learning to walk and looking at an adult going, why do I keep falling on my face? And you're running around like crazy here. Like, what's happening here? You can't play that game. You can't compare that way. So, all right. All right. We're going to talk about how to speed up growth here in just a second. But real quick, new thing we're testing out on the show. Is it news or is it just new? Okay. Candy?
Well, with almost every platform, when they get into something new, they kind of say, oh, this is the latest thing. It's going to be so great for you. So the question is it going to be great for me? YouTube just announced a brand new feature called Shows. I don't know why I used air quotes. Maybe it's because this is what I need you, Jerry.
Because
This
you're
is why I
skeptical.
need you. I am skeptical, and I am, yes. So you can use it apparently to organize your videos, create binge sessions for viewers. So, how exactly does this work? Does it matter for entrepreneurs? Because when I see shows on YouTube, I'm trying to distinguish what's the difference between a show and a channel. It seems like it's the same. It's not that it's an organizational tool. So how does it work?
Yeah. So not everybody has this yet. This is a feature that I actually do have right now. And the way it works,
Where is
let's
it?
see. Well, it's hidden behind this logo. So let me hide that logo real quick.
Okay.
So you would go to create like you were uploading a video and it says new show. And then a show has a title, a description. This is all just like playlists, but then it has two types of artwork. One is a banner and one is a backdrop. And I haven't set this up, so I don't know what it is. And then you tell them, is this non-serial or is this serial? So episodes are intended to be watched in sequential order, listed oldest to newest. So it's essentially another kind of playlist. Like if I go back here, we have podcasts, which are basically playlists. We have courses, which are basically playlists with different types of features.
But
So
those have like attachments. You can put in anything with courses. That makes sense to me. What
yeah,
I'm trying to figure out is the difference between a show, a playlist, and just a regular YouTube channel where
yeah.
everything is.
And I think YouTube is also still trying to figure this out. Like, is
Oh,
this
okay
like
then.
what exactly it's going to be? But as we've talked about, YouTube wants to be the number one app on your TV. They want to be bigger than
Mhm.
Netflix, bigger than Hulu, bigger than Disney Plus. And so I think they're just creating a better, more Netflix-like experience for people that are creating serial content. Now, one of the questions that an entrepreneur asked me, like, well, should I just add them on there? Because like, is it going to hurt? It's probably not going to hurt you, but it's probably not going to help either. YouTube did come out and say that shows that don't have a lot of like interesting visuals probably won't be considered shows. So if you were to do talking
Okay.
head videos, then that's not considered a show.
No. or a faceless sort of situation, that probably wouldn't help entrepreneurs. So I'm envisioning it into like the comparison with streaming platforms is probably better than for me. So I'm envisioning it to like a limited series run, which is like 6 episodes. It has high level graphics, high level imagery, video, really produced type of thing. And I'm talking about one thing. And maybe it's 6 episodes, and that's my show. So where does my show up?
It's going to show up anywhere else. And if somebody watched one of them, then they would probably be suggested the next one. But the same thing happens with playlists and
Right.
courses and all of the other things. So uh,
Hmm.
let's see. What is the difference between a show and a playlist? The show just has additional cover art right now. And then you can also talk about it being serialized. I'll tell you, when they rolled out podcasts as playlists, then there became a dedicated podcast page that people could go to.
Yeah.
So some of this is still rolling out. I think if I had a podcast that was serial, I might put it on there. Right now, I'm releasing just the publishing pattern I'm in right now. I'm actually releasing a bunch of videos that are specifically for helping somebody start a channel for their business, like literally the basics,
Hmm.
picking out cameras and things like that. And the thing is, though, I'm releasing them backward so that I can link to the next one to watch. We don't have to get too deep into this. This is always confusing, but the first video is not even available yet, so I can't even put it in there. But um, I don't think it's the type of thing where it makes any sense. I mean, to answer the question, is this news or is just new? I think it's just new for entrepreneurs. I don't think it matters. If you're
Well,
creating shows, that's different.
however, I would say maybe you have one thing in your business that is constantly reoccurring, like you were saying, like a beginner track. Like
Yeah.
maybe there's something where there's a beginning, a middle, and a definite end. And that's all you have to say about that. So maybe that is where your serial content lives on shows in this new YouTube feature. And maybe because they're trying to push shows and build it up, you might get a little more traction if that was something you were to do right now.
I
Or is
don't
this a
think
shiny object?
Yeah. So when YouTube
Mhm.
Shorts came out, let's just compare it to a feature, right? When YouTube
Okay.
Shorts came out, they literally needed stuff to fill that feed, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So making shorts at that time, just like making TikToks in the early days, they needed content desperately to fill that feed. You could probably reach out a bunch more people. I don't think that's true for this because I think they're
Okay.
going to have a bunch of people in Hollywood or that are already making the right kind of content. I don't think as entrepreneurs, we're not going to trick YouTube into saying, hey, I've got these 5 tutorials and they're all kind of related, so it's a show now. I don't think that's going to happen. And they really are emphasizing like high quality production, which I don't think my videos are ugly, but they're certainly not a Netflix documentary. So,
Right.
and
But
it is.
I
Go
would
ahead.
say with more AI tools being able to help you with B-roll and transitions and get it at that level, I don't think we're very far off from, JoJo in Poughkeepsie rolling out like a little mini documentary about chiropractic techniques and having a beginning, a middle, and an end, like, or whatever it is as far as an entrepreneur goes. So I wouldn't say that it wouldn't be advantageous to know that it exists.
JoJo in Poughkeepsie is my favorite chiropractor, so I
Oh
appreciate you
yeah, I
giving
know,
him a
me
shout out.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, love that. Yeah, and I think sometimes people, well, it's just a box. Should I just go ahead and check it? It's like, well, yeah, but then every additional thing you're doing, could that
Mhm.
time have been better spent setting something else up or making your
Yes.
next video better? Because you are checking a box once you set it up, but it looks like you need at least 2 pieces of art you got to create. And I don't even know where those show yet. Like I said, this just came
Yeah.
out this week, so
Okay.
I'm feel free to play with it if you got time and it sounds fun. But I definitely think it's new. It's not news for us. Amy says organizing shows would be helpful for multi-passionate creators or businesses. You can do that too with playlists, Amy. The danger is the more different things you publish on your channel, the harder it is for YouTube to match you up with the right viewers. So
Mhm.
in my programs, we teach something called the magnetic 8. But the idea is as a business owner channel, you want to help the same person with the same overall problem. Because once a video finds an audience and then you make another video for that same audience, and I mean the same audience, not like if I made a video about YouTube and it got a bunch of people and they're all business owners, then I was like, now let me teach you email marketing because you have to have email too. It is the same audience, but it's not the same general problem. Now YouTube has to go find people who are interested in YouTube and email, and that's again, you're starting over there. So you work against yourself. So just be careful with that. Own Your Money says, can you add a show later or only on initial upload? Yep, no, you can do it later. You can turn current playlists into shows. So YouTube is really good about that. Do you
That
think
would
there'll
be
be
interesting. If anybody had something already and they turned it into a show as a test case to see what happened. Somebody do that. We have somebody in the comments that probably has something like that. Do it and see what happens. Let us know. Report back.
Do you think there'll be a difference in AdSense revenue? So AdSense is the money if you get enough views, you join the partner program and they share some of the ad revenue with you, which is nice extra money. I think that's interesting.
Well, they're made to binge. So that means my eyeball is longer on your ad.
If they watch
Yeah.
longer, you would absolutely make more in
Yeah.
AdSense. But now I'm wondering if a show might be more likely to be recommended on TV. I guess reading about it, the
Oh.
things that I know about shorts or about YouTube and what they said about this is like, it's not like you can just be like a series or have really
Mhm.
nice cover art. They can see what your video looks like every frame. What does your shot look like? What do your graphics look like? What are your all of those things. And so, not to take away from Candy at her desk right now, but if her show looked like that, I don't think that's what they're looking for. And so I don't think it's necessarily going to get recommended. But
No, but again, like I mentioned earlier, with AI, with these great graphics packages that we're getting and transitions and music adding and all this other stuff that you can do in a couple of clicks, and then you're kind of, if the episodes are not very long, you're in competition with, you're not like, it's not Sundance, but like you're close up there, right? Like I
yeah.
could see this used for sports content. I can see it used for I can really see it used for any sort of action type of content. So there's possibilities there, but like you said, if they're trying to get content that's ready for TV and ready to go and not just like two nice looking bros sitting in chairs chatting, then that makes a lot of sense to me.
And some people are already making that content.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
already making it. They just didn't have a tool for it. Here we go. Gord says Backstage Pass. YouTube Backstage is much like a show. Think about the things we all used to watch on late night TV. Love it. Should we make this a show? Maybe we should make this a show. That can be in our
I don't know.
experiment this month and see if anything
It
happens.
could, and see if anything, if it changes.
All right. If you think we should just make this a show and see what happens, let us know in the comments right now. I appreciate that, Gord. That's
YouTube's like, you need more drone footage and your B-roll is a little slow. So if you could add some animals, it'd be great.
yeah. Where's your fancy graphics and why
Yeah.
aren't you filming in Prague right now? What are you just in your
I know.
house? Boring.
Boring. Yeah.
Boring. Okay. So we're going to get to our viewer question here in just a second, which is Candy's viewer question of the week. What's the smallest channel that could still generate real leads? But first, let's talk about how to grow faster on YouTube. I realize my agenda here is in the wrong order, but that's okay. We'll skip back. See, this is why we'll never make it as a show.
It
on
won't be a
YouTube.
show. No, forget it. We got to cut that one immediately. That's not going to hack.
All right. So some of this could apply during your first 90 days, but this is primarily if you're beyond 90 days as well. This definitely applies. And the biggest thing when people say, I want to speed up growth, I like to advise against don't go do more. Sometimes people think I'm not growing fast enough. I'm going to make more videos. I'm going to make more long form videos. I'm going to publish 2 a week or 3 a week. Earlier, as it was at Amy, I think she said she did 7 videos in 20 days or 28 days, or whatever it was, which is obviously more than once a week. And you do what you can do, but fewer quality videos is going to outdo like just bulk videos. Now, the biggest thing though is people think, okay, I got to double down. I'm going to do more topics. Then you confuse the algorithm. I'm going to make more videos. Now I have more chances to catch on, possibly. But usually it feels like a strategy, but it's kind of like a panic response. And so it's just one of those things where, if I could make a recommendation, if you've got more time, like our whole thing is let's teach you how to grow a lead generating YouTube channel in as little time as possible by focusing on the things that give you a high ROE or return on effort. If you're not deeper in our world, you may not have heard us talk about that, but we talk about ROE a lot. And it is basically like like somebody says, okay, well, I got 10 hours a week to put into YouTube. Should I put out 2 videos a week? And my first instinct is to say, well, how much better could your one video be if you put in more time into it, especially if it's not working yet? So there's a point where if all of a sudden you're a full-time, you got 40 hours a week to do YouTube, then yeah, making one video better and better and better may not be your best opportunity. But at some point, whether you got 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week, just making your one video better is more likely to help you grow. And again, YouTube is just still trying to find ways to get you in front of the right audience. But so here's what I suggest. How do we scale this up? Like I just said, number one, improve your videos. Better scripts, better titles, better thumbnails, better delivery comes from obviously making more videos. So some of this stuff, we have AI tools like our script writing app inside our Growth Lab program. But the stronger that stuff is, the better your videos will be. And then the second thing I think you can do to speed this up, and this actually came up earlier already, but promote off YouTube to the right people. So if you can get in front of the right people, either maybe you have your own audience, or maybe you can get in front of other people's audiences. And what I like to do with this is not just tell people to go subscribe to the channel, because nobody is sitting around going, I need more to watch. I sure wish I had more to watch, right? There's already so much content. You would never, ever run out. So if you're going to do this, what I like to do, like if I was a podcast guest and I wanted to use it to grow my YouTube channel, usually if I'm a podcast guest, I try and get them on my email list. But if I wanted to grow my YouTube channel, I would point them to a very specific video on my YouTube channel. They say, and where should we send people? I'd say, I have this video. It is about this, and it's going to help you with these three things. I would try and set up an easier link to go to other than youtube.com/gobbledygook. But
that's my favorite. That's my favorite one. Gobbledygook.
I'm going to get that domain, youtubegobbledygook.com.
Well, JoJo and Poughkeepsie put it up, and I was like, yeah, obviously, that's the one.
There you go. Yeah. So what I would do, I would say, and here's what you're going to get in this video. So make time and go watch this video. And if you find it valuable, subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming videos. So somebody subscribing to your channel, never clicking on any of your videos, barely helps you at all. Like your subscriber number goes up 1. Somebody watches your video, goes, oh, I really like this, and then subscribes, they'll probably be back. Or they watch one of your videos and then they join your email list. Or they watch one of your videos and they watch 3 more because you've linked them up, or you have a playlist or a show, whatever it might be. And so that is where I would just strongly encourage you to, find the right people however you can, and then send them to a specific video, and then say, if you like it, subscribe afterward. I think that's kind of the best approach for this.
So this is kind of how you're speeding up growth would be, you don't double down on the amount of output, you're doubling down on quality. So
Yes.
when you're talking about quality, it's interesting because you kind of gave the list of like, oh, better scripts, titles, thumbnails, delivery, like whatever else in there. I actually disagree with that a little bit, because I think the number one thing you can do is better scripts. Because
how does that disagree? You're just saying they need to be ranked instead of.
I don't agree with the other stuff. Like if you're, I mean, yeah, we can always do better thumbnails. Yeah, we can always have better, like perfect optimized titles, But if you're going to spend any time on anything, it should be scripts. Because oftentimes, if you can't get that viewer's attention in the first 5 seconds, you can't keep it in the first 15, you're not going to get to 30, and you're not going to get to 130. So they're not going to view anything. They're not going to get to your call to action. They're not going to have an opinion about you because they didn't give you enough time to form an opinion. So I think scripting is like the end all be all of things that you can and should improve to grow faster.
Yeah. You don't disagree with me. I agree. That is one of the highest return on effort places to invest your time to learn and get better at it. But some people have videos that have really good watch time, but they're not getting clicked on. So those people need to think about their titles, their thumbnails, or maybe their topics in some cases if they're not getting a lot of impressions.
Yeah, the topic match part, like you were talking about. Yeah.
But yeah, if your watch time is not there, like people like you're making 10-minute videos and your average watch time on them is 1 minute, then yeah, your script is absolutely where you should invest that time. So.
I actually was talking to somebody the other day about a YouTube video they had sent me and said, hey, this is a client of mine, and what do you think of this video? And I was like, well, all right. So I watch it, and she goes, yeah, nobody is like staying past 30 seconds. And I don't know why. She's delightful. She's great. Da, da, da. She's super knowledgeable. And I said, oh yeah, but she told me the answer to the question in the first 30 seconds. Why am I watching the video? And she goes, oh crap. Like she didn't realize that the script was supposed to be like, you're giving a good hook to then give the answer. and they just like gave the answer to whatever the thing was. And so I wasn't watching for amazing visuals, or I wasn't watching for the story to unfold, and I wasn't into the narrative or anything like that. I was like, yeah, you just gave me the answer the first 30 seconds. Why do I keep watching? I got other stuff to do.
Yeah, you got what you needed. And that is, it's so, this is why outside perspectives are so helpful. It's so hard to see that stuff sometimes until somebody points it out and you go, oh, geez. I had a call earlier this morning with a friend of mine that runs this like advanced AI vibe coding community. And he was like, hey, any feedback on, these latest updates that we've made? And I said, yeah, you make me feel like the dumbest person in your community because you are using these terms, and I'm technically minded, but I only know so much. You're using these terms that I don't know. And by the way, this is a good tip for YouTube videos too. You're like, yeah, and then on the relay of the private server to the GitHub to the repo, and I'm like, I've heard those words before, but I don't know what they all mean there, and I could guess from context, but my brain's not going to work that hard for this. And so, and he said, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. So helpful. And so this is the same thing in your videos. You never want to, like, it's good if your videos repel some people, but you never want to, so you don't want to like make it, like so dumbed down that more intermediate or advanced people are like, oh, this is for beginners. So I'll give you a simple phrase. And we used to use this on the radio all the time. If you're not familiar, it's this. Or if for anyone who's not familiar, it's this. So you kind of catch people up to speed. You don't have to explain the whole thing. You just want to kind of make sure people are looped in, because the moment you say a word somebody doesn't know, they're gone. So yeah, so I thanked him for making me feel super stupid in his super advanced, AI community, kind of like a lot of us feel with AI right now. Yeah.
I think you get that way with a lot of technical content. You see it with obviously software, you see it with medical quite a bit. Like, you assume people who were researching the solution to the problem that they have would already know these medical terms and things like that. And it's like, no, they do not. It's almost like a complete secondary vocabulary. So once you start getting very technical with some things, it's good to like, hey, this thing, which is blah, 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 or you use acronyms or abbreviations that you think everybody knows. We had an incident last night. We went to meet the teacher night at school, and I kept saying a push, a push, a push over and over again. The teacher was like, yeah, a push, a push, a push. Jerry's behind me tapping on the shoulder. What is a push? I'm like, that's AP US history. All right. Okay. Makes sense. But, obviously, if it's one of those things. So yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Candy's viewer question of the week. Candy, what's the question that you got?
Okay, what is the smallest channel, so in size of viewership, smallest channel that could still generate real leads?
Okay.
So I'm assuming the definition of real is that lead turns into a sale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I think it means beyond. Views, like real leads means, because sometimes people go, oh, I've got so many leads. I've got 2,000 subscribers. And it's like, well, are they really leads? You can't contact them. So they're not real leads. You can't communicate with them other than in your next video.
Okay. Then I think that's the first part of the question. Then what do you define as a real lead off of YouTube?
Yeah. For me, it's somebody joining my email list. For other people, It might be booking a call. You have to remember that people go onto YouTube to get free answers. And if you try and get them to like buy something right away when they showed up to get a free answer, it's a big ask, right? Even if it's $9 or something like that. So I think the email list is the lowest lift for entrepreneurs. So what's the smallest channel that could still generate real leads and, like you said, sales? I can tell you that there are channels out there that are in really like tight niches where they have 1,000 subscribers and they're making $10,000 a month from their channel. So size does not, like, there's no exact thing. So what I would do instead is, and I know this is an annoying answer. You want the number, right? What do I have to get to before I'm going to see results? But I would instead, in the early days, like we talked about earlier, focus on what you can control. But that being said, I think that depending on your niche, part of leads comes from like how big the channel is, just because there's sort of some social proof and authority there. And I would say when my channel hit like 300 subscribers, people around me are like, wow, you are crushing it. This is amazing. So you don't have to have 50,000, 100,000, anything like that. The other thing, if we talk about smallest channel, it really is going to come down to like, what do we mean by small? Are we talking about
Yeah.
subscribers, views? Views is the number one metric that matters. Subscribers is primarily um, basically a social proof metric at this point. I benefit because I have this plaque on the wall behind me because of social proof, gets me on podcasts, things like that. But really, the health of a channel is how many views have I gotten in the last 6 months. And I can tell you, some people think, oh, you got 160,000 subscribers, so every video you get gets 160,000 views. No, not at all. Especially
No.
since I've sort of evolved over the years and have taught different things. But I think that, if you got a channel that had 500 subscribers and you were getting, 100 views a video consistently, you could easily have a 6-figure or even a multi 6-figure business, assuming that the rest of your business was set up right. It doesn't
So when
have
you
to be big.
say, okay, so you say rest of your business set up right, meaning the people that are in your niche have money to spend in the first place and are looking for your solution.
Well, that's
Like,
important, but
that's important,
but what I
clearly.
mean by the rest of the business is set up right is you have something to sell, people want
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and you have a way to get them to buy it. So you could have you could have a million subscribers, and then if you were just like, hey guys, I made a line of t-shirts, can you buy them?
Hmm.
And you make nothing. Like the influencers fall into this all the time. I've got this
Right.
huge audience. I'm going to make so much money. Oh, they don't want anything I have. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's that last thing. So great question though. We don't have a special form for this, but if you have a question that you'd like us to answer on the show, replay viewers as well, you can just send an email to jerry@donebylunch.co and we can answer it here on YouTube Backstage. So again, if you are wondering if YouTube is going to work for your business or not, I do want to invite you to this brand new workshop that I'm going to be teaching coming up on Monday, August 17th. So it's a week from today's live. Build a YouTube channel that sends you clients without it taking over your life. And we're going to talk about the 3 things every client getting channel has, why most YouTube advice is wrong for business owners. We're going to talk about actually generating leads, why traditional lead generation doesn't work, and a whole lot more. Editing faster. It's all included. I'm really excited for this. You can get the link in the description of this video, or I'll bring the QR code back up here on the screen right now. If you want to just simply scan it with your phone, just take you a second, just give us your first name and email, and then you'll get your invite to join us. Technically, I'm not even promoting this till Monday, but we were going live today and I needed something to put into this little box here. So it's like,
That's
I'll
because you were
put up
testing the QR code and you're like,
Yeah.
just put it in the thing.
Yeah.
Let's see if it works. Put it in the
Hopefully
thing.
it works. Yeah. So awesome. Thank you all for being here for YouTube Backstage. Let me just go ahead and tease now, since we do know our next week's show. I'm really excited about it. I have another friend who teaches YouTube and she loves Google Gemini. I am a big Claude fan. And she reached out and she said, hey, I want to make a video where we test Claude versus Gemini, which is Google's YouTube tool or AI tool, Claude versus Gemini for YouTube tasks. And we'll see which one does which better. And so that is what we're going to be doing on next week's show. We're also going to record it, and then she's going to make it into a video on her channel. So
I think it will be surprising because we all know each AI platform is changing so rapidly. So there might be a preconceived notion we have going in, and she's like, oh, by the way, look at this. I was like, what? It does that now? So I think it'll be exciting to see what actually comes out of it.
Well, and we also have to figure out what the standards are going to be. So, for example, if we I'm sure Claude plus my framework for script writing will write a better script than Gemini just, hey, write me a script, right?
Yeah, because you're giving it guardrails. You're giving it expectations going in.
Yeah. So, I'm giving it years of experience, right, in this framework that I created. So I think whatever we do, we have to put the same thing into both of them. And I think it'll be interesting to see. Make sure you're here live if you can be, because by the next day, it may not be relevant anymore. Who knows? Because it's so fast.
It changes so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that'll be fun. So that'll be coming up next week. Brilliant YouTuber who is from Pakistan, lives in Portugal now, and looking forward to that. So take care, everybody. Thank you for being here for YouTube Backstage. Also, replay viewers, please leave a comment. Let us know if this was helpful. There's 2 separate comments sections, so we love to see the replay commenters as well. And we will see you all next week. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Can't find the button. Hang on. Du-du-du-du-du.